Breaking news this morning. Just about an hour ago, the Minnesota House of Representatives wrapped up an hours-long floor debate, passing 3 separate bills in the process. Valley News Team's Quinn Gorham tracked that vote through the evening and into this morning and brings us the latest from St. Paul.
Thursday and eventually Friday's Minnesota House floor session wasn't a sprint, it wasn't a jog, it wasn't even a full marathon. It was the political equivalent of a triathlon. The nearly 14-hour House floor debate had 3 DFL-backed bills, and even though there was a DFL majority in the House, the Republicans made their voices loud and clear. The first issue the House took up was a ban on private prisons. The bill prevents state corrections officers and local agencies from working with privately owned prisons in the state of Minnesota. Republicans raised concerns that the bill targets a smaller community, taking away jobs and consequently people from those rural areas. DFLers responded, though, by reinforcing the original intent of the bill was in the best interest of inmates in the state.
They give it their all to make sure that they get the treatment and the rehab and the programming they need to be able to come out of our correctional facilities, go back into society, and be successful law-abiding citizens. That's who this bill is about, Madam Speaker. That's why we need to ban private prisons in Minnesota.
The bill passed with a vote of 70 to 61 after nearly 4 hours of debate on the floor. From there, the House took on another bill which would again result in an hours-long debate. That bill creates a grant fund for the state to use federal money for new energy projects. While the bill got more Republican votes than the previous bill, it still took 3 hours for it to pass. Republicans that voted against it used the opportunity to rehash concerns over the state's clean energy bill that was passed earlier in the session. Still, that vote passed just after midnight with a less partisan vote of 83 to 47. Shortly before the bill's passage, though, the House dug in for a long night of conversations.
Representative Long moves that the House be allowed to meet past midnight. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails.
The final and longest leg of this session came in the form of the Trans Refuge Bill, a piece of legislation that DFLers say would make the state a safe haven for transgender youth. While the bill solely prevents out-of-state laws from interfering with gender-affirming care in the state, Republicans called out the medical procedures themselves. Representative Lee Finke, the state's first transgender elected official, called the bill absolutely vital for the state's transgender community.
Because right now, our community really needs help. Gender-affirming care is health care. It is safe, evidence-based, developmentally appropriate, and life-saving health care.
That bill passed with a vote of 68 to 62 after nearly 5 hours of floor debate. Republicans made up a huge share of the speaking time throughout the session, with DFL lawmakers really only rising to make a couple of key points and to answer questions directed at them from GOP lawmakers. Altogether, the floor session was about 14 hours long. From here, all these bills will move to the Senate. That's about all there is from here this morning. For now, reporting in St. Paul and heading to bed, I'm Quinn Gorham.
Quinn Gorham in St. Paul there. The only break in action last night was a brief recess to allow members to eat. One House member said that he thinks it was the longest floor session in the past 20 years since he's been elected to the legislature.